Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Motorcycle Musings. Thanks for coming along for a ride. It's Saturday, June 6th, the anniversary of D-Day, and it's kind of a perfect day, so I thought I'm going to go for a little bit of a ride and give you a little bit of an update about what's going on, with respect to opening up the church. And I'm going to do a little experiment here today, killing 3 birds with 1 stone. So the first bird obviously is going for a ride, so I wanted to do that, and I'm doing it. So that's the first thing, and then the second is doing this video. But I thought I also want to get this on my podcast, so I'm going to try to, once this is done, extract the audio and put it out on the podcast. We'll see how that goes. I think I know how to do it, but I'll find out. Anyway, so out for a little ride, and we've all been locked up for a long time now, since mid-March. And I don't know about you, but one thing I've been doing is I've been watching a lot of videos on YouTube. Especially cooking videos. I like watching cooking videos, and I like cooking. I'm not great at cooking, but I like it. I enjoy it, and I've been watching videos on cooking, and I've got a bit of a confession to make, an admission, something that I know this is going to be troubling to a lot of people, but in a lot of videos they talk about the different kinds of flavors, and they often speak about umami, the importance of umami. Well, my confession is I don't know what that is. I don't know what umami is. When they talk about it, they describe it, and I don't understand. I mean, I get sweet, salty, sour. There's probably other flavors, but I don't understand umami. Anyway, I'm glad I got that off my chest. It's been really kind of bothering me for a few years. Anyway, so what's going on? There's we're just out by Caledonia, going along the Grand River. This is an area that I really, really like, kind of heading into the native reserve. I was down here a couple of weeks ago, and they had they've got it all blocked off, so I don't think I'm going to be able to go on the reserve. I think they did that because of the coronavirus. Anyway, we'll see what happens. It's about 5 kilometers down here. Lots of boats out. It's nice to see families, Everyone's getting back to normal. People camping and kind of hanging out there, having some picnics. It's great to see. I love it. So, but what are we doing in the church? We're still locked down. No fun for us. No, we are still locked down. The government of Ontario has extended the emergency shutdown until the end of June. So while everyone is out here on their boats and picnics and whatnot, we are not allowed to reopen. So there's that. And the bishops are of course going along with that. So nothing's going to be happening until the end of June. That's the latest word from the diocese. Well, it's not the latest. The most latest was an email that got sent out to all the priests and parishes of the diocese, telling us to start doing things to get ready, for the reopening. Whenever that's going to happen, I have no idea. I guess in July. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, so. But we've been doing the things. So they talked about things like making sure you've got face masks on hand. Well, we've got a bunch. I just bought 200 of them, so we've got those. I'm going to encourage you to keep your face masks available because you may need to wear them. I don't know yet. I'll let you know as soon as I know anything regarding the policies from the diocese. But we've got 200 face masks currently at the parish. We're going to need to demarcate the pews and tell people where they can sit. So I've got all my blue masking tape to tape off pews and put lines on the ground, and for all that kind of stuff. Michael's been working on the sanitizing supplies, so he's been doing that for the last couple of weeks. So we've got more hand sanitizing stations available, and we're going to need supplies for cleaning the church. Most likely what's going to happen is we're going to have to fully sanitize the church in between every Mass, and I have no idea what that really fully looks like, but we're going to try to be ready for it. So wiping down the pews and door handles, and I don't know what else. So we're on it. We're getting the supplies. The thing I'm going to need most from you, and if you're a parishioner at Regina Mundi watching this or listening, if I am able to successfully get this on the podcast, I'm going to need people. So what I want you to do, here's your task, is to consider, here's the, so we'll go now another kilometer or so, and that'll be fully blocked off. That's no problem. We'll just turn around. So what I need you to do is consider helping. We're probably going to need, I don't know at this point, maybe 5 people for each Mass that are willing to help out and clean after each Mass to get ready for the next one. So, over a weekend we've got 3 Masses, 15 people. If I could get 15, 20 people, I think that would be ideal. And now I really want people who, are comfortable with that. Some people are not going to be comfortable with, coming into the church. They're concerned about getting the virus. Only people who, if you're comfortable with it, if you've made a risk assessment, given the circumstances of your own life, and you think, yeah, that's something I want to do, well, give it thought. I want you to also spread the word. Lots of people don't watch my YouTube videos or listen to the podcast in the parish, so spread the word among them and say, hey, Father's looking for a little help here. Is this something that you would be interested in helping with? So that's your job, is to consider it, spread the word, and like I say, if we get 15 to 20 people for each Mass, that would be awesome. So there's that. Another thing for everybody is to approach this situation with charity and grace, because everyone's kind of high-strung about a lot of things, and people are saying, well, we shouldn't open the church. It's too early to open it. And some people are saying we should have opened long ago. So there's a lot of different opinions on it. And then when it comes to opening, everyone's got their own opinions. Father, we should be doing this. People are sending me emails. Father, you should do it this way, do it this way, do it that way. Well, look, I take everything really seriously, and we're going to try to do the best we can. But there's limitations on what we can do too. So, just approach the whole thing with grace, as a Christian, with charity, and just trust, trust that, that I'm doing the best I can, the parish, we're doing the best we can, that we're all approaching this with goodwill and seriousness. We're not being serious. We're trying to be serious about the whole thing. So, so there's that. There's going to be some. Oh yeah, here we go. So yeah, we're going to have to turn around. So just bear with me. Speaking of charity and grace, have some a little bit right now as I make my U-turn. You can see them out there. They're getting ready for me. Well, we'll just do one of those. Okay, so there's that. Oh yeah. So there's going to be a limitation on the number of people that will be able to come into the church for Mass, and I don't know what that number is going to be. The government has not issued an edict on that, and I have not received any information from the diocese. So I don't know what it's going to be, but there's going to be some number. And, it may be the case that you'll come to church and we will be at capacity given the regulations imposed upon us. So if that happens, try to be understanding, that, if it were up to me, I'd let everyone in. I want people to be in the presence of God and worshiping God. So, but, we're under these kinds of impositions. So, if that means you go home and pray at home, I don't know what it's going to mean, but there's a lot of uncertainty, I guess, as you can most likely tell at this point. So there's that. I feel like, I don't know if there's anything else I need to say. I can't think of anything else. That's really all the information I have. I don't have any more information. Near the end of the month, I'm sure the bishop will do a conference call with all of the priests and parishes. We were supposed to have one last week, or rather this week. Yeah, I guess last week on Wednesday. Well, it was canceled when the Ontario government extended the state of emergency. And, the last thing I want to say is this, and this is really important. So we're going to open at some point. I mean, that's for sure. And some people are going to be nervous about coming to Mass, and some people really are not going to feel nervous. And again, let's approach the whole thing with charity and grace. If you were, my approach is this. Here, I'm going to just play my cards, and it's this. You're adults, assuming you're not a child. If you're an adult, well, you're an adult, and I think you should be treated as an adult. As a reasoning adult who's able to do critical thinking, who's able to make your own risk assessments, and an adult who's able to take responsibility for your own life and for the life of those people around you. So, I think everyone needs to make that risk assessment, and we do this all the time. I'm on a motorcycle right now, and, probably not the most safe way to travel, but I've made a risk assessment and said, well, for me, it's fun enough that I'm willing to assume the risk. When you get in your car and you drive around, you make a risk assessment. You say, well, I could get in an accident in my car, but it's worth the risk because the alternatives are not ideal, and you've made that decision. The safest thing to do would be maybe just to stay at home all the time and never go anywhere. Then you'd never get hurt outside. Or the government could say, it's risky to drive, here we are, it's 80 kilometers an hour. The government could say, that's too risky, 80 kilometers an hour, that's too risky. So we'll turn all the roads into 25 kilometer an hour roads, and that way if you get in an accident, no one will ever be killed. But we'd all say no, we want to be able to drive fast because we've accepted that risk. All this to say that, we make risk assessments in our lives all the time. And we do it, without even thinking. But we're doing it. And if the risk kind of metric exceeds the benefit that we would derive, then we say, well, it's not worth it. Anyway, so all that to say, when we reopen, my assumption is that you, the listener or viewer, you will make your own risk assessment. You will look at your own life and your own health condition and age and the situation of the people that you live with and that you care for and that you visit. And you'll say, well, for me, it's either worth it to come to Mass or it's not. And that's fine. That's fine. Either way is totally fine. If it's not worth it because the risk is too high, then you stay at home and be at peace with that decision. That does not mean that you're a lesser Catholic, that you don't love God as much as the other people. Like, don't go down that road. Like, no. God, we have an obligation to attend Sunday Mass, but that obligation is in proportion to the other risks involved. So like in the winter, if we have a big snowstorm or an ice storm, if it's really, really icy out and you're older, and like, could you get to Mass? Could you like physically do it? Yeah, you probably could, but it's icy, so you might, trip and fall. And if you're older, as we all know, that can be very dangerous to your health. So you make a risk assessment and you say, well, today with the ice and everything, it's not worth the risk. And that's totally fine. That's what the church expects you to do, to make that kind of discernment. If you are sick, that's the other thing. Let's forget the coronavirus times, even before this. If you've got a really bad flu, you think, well, I could go to church. But then you say, no, there's a good, serious reason for which I should not go. I'm sick, and if I go, I'm going to bring this to other people. And you make a decision, and that's a good decision to make. Okay, I hope you all get what I'm saying, that we all have to... I don't think it's fair for, an authority like the government or the church or anyone or me or anyone to kind of make a blanket decision about who should and who shouldn't go to church. I think this is something that responsible people can decide for themselves, keeping in mind their own situation and the situation of those that also will be at Mass. All that to say, so if you decide, well, I've looked up my circumstances and I go to Mass, okay, that's fine. That's not a mortal sin. You're not going to hell for that. Anything like that. You're making a discerning decision. Also, as I've said before, I will be issuing a dispensation from the obligation of attending Sunday Mass to the parishioners at Regina Mundi. So even if you choose not to go, you're totally fine. Okay, I hope I've driven that point home well enough. And if you decide to go to Mass and you say, yeah, I'm younger, I'm healthy, I'm not interacting with older people or sick people, and I'm willing to assume the risk, and I want to go to, it's important for me, I want to go to church, I want to, be there, and you go, that's great. It's, no one should look upon others with any judgment in any of this situation. I guess that's the point. My idea is that we would just be open, available for people, those who make the risk assessment and say, I don't want to go, they should feel at peace in their conscience and not be judged. And those who say, I want to go, and they go, they should not be judged either. And there would be people who would do that. They'd say, oh, what are you doing? You're going out, you're putting everyone at risk. No, we can't be looking at people, as threats. People, when you look at another person, that's a person. It's someone like you, and we should, that's what does Jesus tell us? This is pretty basic stuff, right? Love one another. Love another as you love yourself. So anyway, I hope I've ranted sufficiently long. I'm getting back to Caledonia here, and it's been really interesting over the last week or so. I've been noticing, I don't know if you have, I've been going out, I've had to do some things and, get groceries and, whatever, that kind of stuff. And, for the most part, the world is kind of getting back to normal, which is really great to see. And it's kind of frustrating to me that, we're all still locked up. I do not like that. There, I've been honest with you and kind of told you where I'm at. So anyway, I know it's probably a little bit of a longer video than normal. Well, I don't know. I've only put out a few videos, so I guess I don't have a normal. But there it is. I guess bottom line, we're going to be closed until the end of June. We'll wait for the government of Ontario to release more information. We'll be following that. And so stay tuned to that. The best way to get information is the parish website, reginamundi.ca, and my website, fatheradamvoisin.com. Those are the best ways. If you go to my website, fatheradamvoisin.com, and you subscribe, you'll see a button at the top. You subscribe. Then every time I post something new, you get an email about that. And you can unsubscribe anytime. so you're not locked in. If you just want to subscribe for the next month or two to make sure you're getting all the up-to-date information, and then you want to unsubscribe, that's totally fine. So that's an option for you. Anyway, there you go. I hope you all have a great day. This is it's a beautiful day out here, and this is the Feast of the Trinity coming up. So we reflect on God, on the very nature of God, that God is Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, one God, three persons, and that within God, the awesome thing is there is love within God, because the Father loves the Son loves the Father, and the Spirit is who binds them together. So anyway, it's a beautiful aspect of our faith, that this is the kind of God that we worship, not a solitary, unloving God, but a community of persons that within whom there is love, and that love overflows and pours out into the lives of you and me.